Hello, fellow old farts. I don't know if anybody else is out there. Hi, Dave Cullen's out there. How you doing, Dave? Welcome, welcome. Hopefully today, this is going to be a historic day for the United States. Supposedly, at this hour, our president is going to be signing supposedly an executive order uh, to ban DJI drones in the United States, to ban all Chinese drones in the United States. Hi, Jackie. Hola. How are you? Glad to see you there. If anybody wants, I just put in the link here. I today I really didn't have any real plans for the show, but I wanted to be able to, uh, you know, monitor this situation because it's supposed to be right now at this exact time that he's supposed to be, you know, signing this order, and of course he will want to have cameras and all kinds of other things. So I have a couple news TV shows on in my peripheral vision here. One of which is um, a guy named, hold on, let me pull him up here. I did not know this guy existed. Drone Camps. Justin Davis. He's kind of new to me. He's new to me, but he's got 215,000 subscribers. So and I'm not sure, what's going on there. I mean, he's trying to log in now, I guess. So, Ron Durant, I just saw you jump in here. I'm making you a moderator. We make everybody a moderator here on purpose. So Ron Johnson's not a moderator on purpose, so you can go and connect to other channels here. So let's see. And Fire Department, New York Fish. Is that what we'd like to hear from you? You can, in the beginning of the chat, I put a link to the show, and it works with pretty near anything now. You can open it up on your phone. You can use like a browser on your phone. You can put that link into, or you can, there is a StreamYard application for, I believe, both for iOS and for Android. And you can go to that, and then you can put that code in that I put in the chat here, and I'll put it in again right now. Here it's a StreamYard, and so I'm wide open for anybody that wants to watch what's going on here today with me. That would be really good there. So how's Ron Johnson? Good to see you. Ron, nice to meet you. We want to hear more about you and everything else. So this week, first thing I have to kind of report is that we received Audrey's drone back from DJI a couple days ago, and it was shipped here. They had me ship it initially to uh, Texas. Fort Worth, Texas, is where it went to with their UPS label that they sent me. They charged us. It was out of warranty. This is her Mini 2, and it was out of warranty, and it had a broken arm on it. We broke right near the motor. It broke, so I know it crashed into the mountain, and so what we wound up paying was $106 was what they wanted to replace the arm, and of course they sent us back what appears to be a brand new drone, different serial number, still has all the original tape on it, still has everything, and strangely enough, it came from Canada. It came from a company in Canada. So it did not come from DJI. It came from this company that they brought up. So anyway, so that's the that was the big news here at our household today. Today also, one of my neighbors wanted to buy a drone for her son, and I hope he's not listening. Oh boy. I don't think he is, but anyway, we wanted to buy a Mini 4 Pro Fly More combo, and we wanted the whole 9 yards with the RC controller. The only place that we could buy it today is through B&H Photo, and they no longer have Fly More combos and do not know if they are ever going to receive more Fly More combos. So what they did is they packaged it with 3 batteries, a charger, and then you don't get the case as you would normally get, but they had a package where they added a couple $100 onto it. They added a hard case made for the mini made for the Mini 4 Pro, and they added a landing pad and a SD card, and but I called them to be sure today. I was on the phone with B&H. They did assure me it comes with 3 batteries, and we also, from B&H, we bought Care Refresh for 2 years. So it was a little more expensive than it has been in the past, and I understand that if you have inventory right now of a DJI drone, especially today, you might want to be able to charge a little bit more. It wasn't a lot more. It was maybe, I'd say, like $200 more overall for everything, and that was, but we were able to purchase it, and we got a tracking number that it arrives here on Friday. So it's going to be interesting, to see how that all works. And I'm jealous because I would really like to have a Mini 4 Pro, but, I helped her buy it for her son who lives in San Francisco. And so he's got a project that he can use that for. So all good. So I see some people are putting some links into the show, which is great. I want to play those videos for you. let's see what's up here. I'm going to check in on our guy here online that I have streaming behind me here. I don't know. I don't know if anybody else out there familiar with drone camps, RC. Actually, I have to tell you, our friend Alex Escardo sent me this link and said this guy is tracking Trump's movements today, and I was like, okay, great. So, and of course, I have NBC and Fox News up on another monitor here. I have one monitor with two screens there going on. Anyway, and I'm waiting to see if we see anything about what happens there. But let's you know, great Ron. Ron just said, Dave Cullen Photography just subbed your channel. That's the way it's supposed to work here. We love that. And if anybody wants to jump on here and chat, I know somebody bopped in for a minute there and then went away. So, but please don't hesitate to use the StreamYard link. Come on in and talk. Dave Cullen was the first one here to send me a link. So, Dave, I'm going to open your. I'm going to open up your link here. And let me pause here and let's share this video here with everyone watching here. This is Dave Cullen, who's in the UK and has been quite a consistent supporter of the Old Fart Talk Show. Of course, you know, we're on at 8 p.m. In the UK, and of course, we're conflicting with Drone Show Live in the UK. So all good. Let's see. Manavigat waterfall. And okay. Here we go. Add that to the stage here. So Dave Cullen, we're going to show this now here. Let me take it up as large as I can. And right now I'll turn the audio on if there is audio here. We'll listen to it. I don't hear anything. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's beautiful. Is this in the UK, Dave? Turkey. Ah, beautiful. Boy, I wanted to fly in Turkey so bad. We had it kind of set up where I was going to go do it, and it fell through. Yeah, well, you might know the leaker. He's always on Facebook and different platforms leaking DJI information. His first name is with Guli with a bunch of accent marks. Illumer, I think, and we made contact, and we were going to go out at midnight in Istanbul and fly the bridges. And unfortunately, he had an illness in his family, and we couldn't do it. And I was on a cruise ship that was spending one night there. That's wonderful, David. That looks like a beautiful, beautiful spot to fly there. That's for sure. That was just excellent here. Let's check back in with our... No, he's still talking about airplanes and other stuff there, you know, but we are... waiting to hear if there is going to be any announcement of anything going on at the White House. There's an executive order that should be signed today. Supposedly, it could be pushed back. I do have to tell the audience. I fortunately been able to talk to DJI this week to a number of people, and they're hopeful that this will stimulate a test of their drones. It's supposed to be tested based on the NDAA Act of that was signed in December, and that the drones should be tested before the end of the year, and to find out if, in fact, they are leaking any data of any sort. And of course, as we know now, it is not. Oh my goodness. I can't believe it. It's Warren. Hello, Warren. Can we hear you?
Nope.
Okay. This is I think this is Warren's first appearance on any show. Is that right? Yes. And I'm honored that you chose my show, the Old Fart Show, to make your first appearance, Warren. I really am. That's good. So do you think Trump is going to ban drones today?
No clue.
Okay. It could be this could be a historic day in our hobby. Yes. Well, good. Oh, good. Yeah, I'm seeing some other friends in the chat now, and I'm thrilled there to see some of you there. Yeah, Bill, the original podcaster, drone, YouTube talk show, Bill Thomas, Coast to Coast Drones, Drone Therapy, on every Wednesday at 5:30 Pacific time, which is 8:30 Eastern time. I'm glad to see you, and I'm excited. Thank you. And Dave Cullen just came into the chat room, so let's bring that down and add David in. Hello, David.
Hello, how you doing?
Nice very good, very good. I love going to Turkey. I don't know.
Me too. My favorite waterfall in the world.
You know, the first time my wife said we're going to go to, we were going on a cruise. It was leaving from.
I've got to leave. Talk to you later.
Oh, I'm glad to see you. Okay. So the first time. Oh, Dave jumped. We lost Dave. Anyway, the first time, I said, didn't you see Midnight Express? You want to go to Turkey? And but we went to Istanbul, and I have to tell you, it was great. I mean, we were treated so well. It was just a very positive experience. The people were great. The food was phenomenal. And my wife got addicted to shopping at the spice market. And we have now been to Istanbul 3 times. And every time now she's spending about $500 or $600 at the spice market. And we have to buy another suitcase to bring it all back. And it's all in shrink wrapped squares. It looks like you're shipping drugs. And but I have to tell you, getting through the Istanbul airport, which there's a guard at the front door with a machine gun in his hand. That's a normal everyday thing there. But they're well aware of spices versus drugs, I guess. But it looked like looks like kilos of cocaine to me, honey. And she said, "Don't worry." So anyway, so all good, all good. So Dave dropped off. I don't know why. I wanted to hear what he had to say, and what a shock. Huh? We've gotten to see Warren, and we have he has been kind of the mystery man of the drone community, and he seems to have been able to get on nearly every show. So he's in the chat room on every show I'm at. So I mean I'm thrilled that he's made an appearance on Old Fart's talk show here. So how great is that? How great is that? Anybody else, if you want to jump in, and I'm not begging, but because otherwise you're just going to hear me ramble on here. I saw Barkley came in, and let's see who else. Anybody else new in here? So good. I'm glad you guys are out there. Let's see. Well, it says we got a dozen people here, but all good. So let me know, if anybody's got a video that they want to show. I think Ron, didn't you, Dave Cullen sent one? I think Ron Durant sent one. Okay, Ron is new to me. I'm happy to meet you, Ron. And I'm gonna open up your video that you put in the chat here, and if you got something that you're happy about here, let's put it in the chat. There you are. Okay. Is there a particular video that you'd like me to play, Ron? He gave me a link to his channel. Old retired fart hiking and camping there. Well, that one looked good, and let's see. Why don't we take a little bit of a look at that one for the minute? He's got an Air 3 waypoint settings, Granville, Tennessee Heritage Day, another Air 3 waypoint flight, which is pretty cool. And I know in just what I've seen recently here, there's been some Lychee just came out with a new version, and that is able to take their computer program where you can actually bring up, I believe it's Google Earth, and plot your waypoints. And then from there, you can send it from your computer into your controller and then take that out and execute the mission. I'm kind of excited about giving that a try, but they just came out with a new improved version of Lychee. And I also know that you can take a mission from Lychee and open it up in Maven. Maven is also another program that would kind of replace the Fly program, DJI Fly. And in some aspects, it adds some extra things to what you can do. But anyway, I'm interested in seeing that. So here is Ron Durant's latest video in the Great Smoky Mountains here. Let me get it operating. Backpacks and bad knees. All right. It sounds like a typical old fart to me. All right. And we'll make that full screen. Here we go. And we'll give them a play here. Looks beautiful. This is like a mill kind of thing. No. There he is. Yes. One of our fellow old farts here, Ron Durant. Everybody, please like Ron's channel. Please subscribe to Ron's channel. He looks like he's setting up a tripod on or using it as a cane, I think, as a guide there to get to a spot where he wants. Yeah, there you are. Oh, perfect. Let's speed this up a little bit. It's 23 minutes long, Ron. I'm probably not going to stay for the whole time. The food looked good. Looks like a fun diner. Everett Street, North Carolina. Yeah. All right. And away we go. Let's move this forward a little bit. See if you take off in the drone here. Not yet. No. But having some fun camping there, I guess. Okay. Well, thanks, Ron.
Heard about Boxable's flagship product.
We are thrilled that you sent that to me. So let's see, check back in here with drone camps. Nothing yet. Has anybody out there heard anything yet about this? It was supposed to take place at 3 p.m. at the White House, a signing ceremony, and I'm not seeing anything on the news channels that I'm monitoring or on this channel here yet. So we'll have to wait and see here. Wait and see. Yeah. Okay. So great. Drone shots. Hey, Jody, how are you? Great. Please, if you look back through the chat a little bit, there's a StreamYard link. Anybody else want to jump in here? Please do. We're just being very informal here today, and I like I said, we thought maybe this would be the day of reckoning for DJI. Are we going to prove to the federal government that there is no data leaking from a DJI drone to anyone else, or are we going to are we just going to be cut off and can't buy any new ones? Does that make the current drones we own much more valuable if we can't buy any new ones for quite some time? Here, I'm trying to figure that all out. I really would like to, hopefully find out what's going on. Dad Tex here. Hey, my friend in Las Vegas. How are you? today we're waiting to find out if we're going to hear any news from DJI. If you're available to jump in, there's a link in the chat now, and you're welcome to. I understand if you're not, but we're trying to make sense of what would happen here. So as long as I have a somewhat of a captive audience out here, I want to start talking about the Vegas drone meetup. It is in full swing. We probably, I believe, before the 4th of July, we will have the registration open. If you're looking to book your plane fares or anything, it is November 7, 8, and 9. And we've kind of made a decision this year that we're not going to have a, quote, host hotel or whatever. And please, no matter what you can do, if you can get to Las Vegas and find a campsite, get to Las Vegas and find a inexpensive hotel room, whatever you would like, that'd be perfectly fine. So Ron Durant just joined me here, so let's bring him in. But anyway, November 7, 8, and 9. And we have already had communication with, of course, Pilot Institute is also going to participate in this year's. We probably are going to have some classroom for people that want to take classes from Pilot Institute. Will be able to take place on the Friday, the November 7th. And we are meeting next week with the Park District about using some classroom space that they have available, and of course using Cornerstone Park for the Saturday meetup. And that has all been approved. The restaurant that we met at and kind of overtook last year, they are 100% agreeable to do it all again. You know, part of our registration fee included breakfast and lunch on Saturday, lunch at a food truck that came out to the park. And we had a beautiful breakfast at the Parkway Tavern, it's called. And we were able to have, all of the drone people together. And we've heard from Ken Dono and Billy Kyle and Ken Heron and Greg. They all came, and we were able to, hear what their opinions of the future of drones was going to be, and at that meetup. And so we had just a really great time. There are going to be some better adventures this year out to different places, and we're going to be a little more organized about the Sunday part of the meetup, taking people out to different places to fly. There are some extreme places to fly here that require a very lifted four-wheel drive vehicle to be able to get to. So those adventures will be extremely limited. So I'm looking forward to welcoming everybody out here. So let's meet Ron Durant. Hi, Ron.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Good. We can hear you. Yeah. Good.
I'm a big DJI fanboy, so I'm using a DJI Osmo Pocket 3 to stream with a DJI Mic 2 under my shirt right here.
Yep. I'm using the Pocket 3 right now also.
Great
and
camera.
I'm using the microphone built into the Pocket 3, and
Yeah.
I'm fascinated how good it works.
Yeah. So I
I
have
really am.
I have a DJI Osmo Action 3 and the Osmo Action 4, and the Osmo Action 4 has trouble with the DJI Mic 2. It'll
Huh.
drop. You can just turn your back on the camera and it'll drop the audio.
Oh,
And I've been
it-
DJI and I have been back and forth, and you get the same damn response in their chat box or in their forum. They want to work with you and they apologize and all that, but they can never seem to solve the problem. And
mm,
I was tempted to get the Action 5, but I can't trust it, so I just stayed with the 4. And then just last, I had a Mini 4 Pro last year that I sold to a friend of mine and bought an Air 3.
uh-huh.
And I missed the Mini 4 Pro, so I was able to pick one up just last month before the tariffs and the craziness started. It took
Yeah.
about 2 weeks. It took about 2 weeks to get here I bought it from DJI.com, and I hear that a lot of stuff from what I've seen now is out of stock.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's I think we all have become DJI fanboys. I know I am. I have about 3 other brand cheaper drones here, and there is virtually nothing that flies like a DJI.
No,
And
no. And I started flying back in 2015 or so, and
uh-huh,
my first drone, my first copter was a Blade 350QX, I think it was called, and
uh-huh.
it did not have a camera on board.
No.
I had to make a bracket to put a GoPro on it, and
Wow.
you had to start the GoPro on the ground before you took off, and then when you did fly, the video was jello-y like this the whole time. There was no
Yeah. Kind of hard
stabilization.
to
So
watch.
and
Yeah.
then they came out with the Typhoon. Unique came out with the Typhoon 4K, and
Yeah.
that was a big copter. Okay,
Yeah.
but
Big piece of equipment.
that was
Yes.
the first gimbal one I had, and then I slowly went from that to a P4P. That was my first DJI copter, was a P4P,
Yeah. Oh
and
boy.
that was that was some camera on there. Of course, I'm a photographer, so I'm always looking at the camera part of
Ah,
it. Okay.
is
Uh,
that been your career has been a photographer?
no. I'm just a serious hobbyist.
Okay.
If you're a professional, you usually get paid for your stuff. I don't get paid, so I'm just a hobbyist.
Well,
You know.
yes, I understand that, but it's so tell us a little bit about your background. We're just meeting you for the first time.
Well,
Did you recently?
I'm
Yeah.
I'm recently retired. I'm turned 67 last year, so I retired. I was involved mainly with technology, software engineering, and that kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I retired in December. So I'm enjoying that tremendously. I get to do a lot more of what I want to do. And recently, I've been doing a lot of drone flying, and especially learning about waypoint missions and what have you.
I
And
saw. Yeah.
yeah,
You had quite a few waypoint things on your YouTube channel.
yeah, well, that was another thing when DJI released their recent firmware 1.17.0 for the RC2 controller.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
All the waypoint missions went away for us here in the
Huh.
U.S. It has something to do with them not allowing the U.S. Customers to have that new feature, that cloud where your waypoints will follow you from one controller to the
Right.
other.
You
don't
can't
have that.
upload.
We don't have that.
Yeah.
Okay.
They had to eliminate their cloud services, which of course I was able to have like a lot of really deep conversations with DJI, and I'm going to bring Tom in here too in just a second. But what I found out was all of their data, that was a DJI principle from the beginning, is that if they offered you to upload your flight records and upload your, back and forth like that, it had to be on a server within that country. And DJI, when you upload it to DJI, it actually went on Amazon Web Services, which about 70-80% of the internet is on Amazon Web Services, but that's the way
one of the things they didn't do, and it's pretty typical, I think sometimes they didn't have a lot of test scenarios to test out their firmware update, because as soon as I did the firmware update on the Mini 4 Pro, I realized there was a problem because I couldn't see my waypoint missions. And I thought it might have been a glitch. So like an idiot, I went ahead and updated the Air 3 and all the waypoint missions disappeared from that one. And I started by, like I normally do, I posted a forum help, and one of the DJI Glamour, or one of those, got on there and wanted me to send them a video and a photo and blah, blah, blah. And it's the same thing every time. I said, look, I finally sent her an email. And I says, this is what happens. You guys ask me for the same stuff all the time and nothing gets solved. I'm not wasting my time. I'll just go out and recreate all my waypoint missions again. And that's what I had to do. And then they come out with a intermittent firmware this week, 1.17.1. And it did not fail. She wanted me to try it. And I told her I was afraid to because I just recreated all my missions by hand.
Right.
And she says, "No, we guarantee it'll be okay." I said, "Yeah, sure you will."
Yeah, sure.
It didn't erase that time. It did not erase my waypoint missions.
Didn't. Okay.
I was always under the assumption that you could back up your waypoint file in your Android if you could find it. And then if you had to, you could restore it. But what they're saying is, no, you cannot.
Well, I think that had something to do with this online server that, obviously you would be backing up to their server and, your waypoint missions. But I know that what I just read an article this morning about waypoint missions, that Lychee, as I said, came out with a new version today, and there's a way to connect. You can create a mission on your computer using Lychee, and then you can export that mission to Maven on the controller. So Maven is like a competitor of Lychee. So, kind of thing. I know this is using third-party controls, but it is possible. I understand now. Hi, Tom. How are you?
Hey, Bob. Doing good.
Good. Tom, do you know Ron? I
don't think he does.
Pleasure to meet you.
Hey, Tom. Nice to meet you.
So the cloud backup limitations are only in the United States.
Yeah.
So not to be the conspiracy theorist, but it's all linked to the same thing here. Yeah, trying to limit their footprint at this point in time. So if you want to just backspin for a second and talk about, what's really happening with this executive order. So the executive order has a few key provisions, and one and foremost is the restriction on Chinese drone manufacturers. Okay. So it's anticipated that this order will, of course, target DJI and Autel. Now, the action stems over concerns of national security. Now, we know that a security audit was asked for a while back.
I started with that, yes.
So the second provision of this executive order is to accelerate the security review. Now here's the problem with how the security review exists right now. if it's not conducted within a certain amount of period, DJI, Autel, and all Chinese drone manufacturers are prohibited from selling their product and getting FCC clearance in the United States.
Yeah.
So there is a good provision in this executive order. It's the acceleration of the security review. And it mandates the U.S. intelligence community to expedite the evaluations. Now, the objectivity of that security review has to be called in.
Yeah.
So we'll have to watch how that pans out. Now, another provision in this executive order is support for the domestic drone industry, right? And Bob and I were in a committee meeting the other night, okay? And I profess being a DJI fanboy. I am. Okay, I think they make the best product out there today for the best dollar.
Mhm. Agreed.
That doesn't mean I'm anti-US. I believe that U.S. companies should, we should try to give them a leg up, not stack the deck, okay? But provide them funding opportunities that they can advance their design and innovation. But I'd also want to see some restriction in those plans. If you get grant dollars from the U.S., you can't use those grant dollars for political lobbying. Okay, because I believe a couple of companies out there have wasted a great deal of funds that should have been dedicated to building a better drone. Instead, they steered them towards their, lobbyist. And again, I'm not a big fan of lobbyists. The last provision in this executive order is to modernize some drone regulations, right? Another good thing for us in the drone.
Yeah.
And that's basically expanding legal flight zones, empowering infrastructure operators to, also restrict drones over private facilities, critical infrastructure, things like that. The U.S. has been very, very slow to deal with their critical infrastructure. Now, let's also realize we all walk around with a Chinese phone in our hand. It doesn't matter whether it's an Android or an iPhone.
Doesn't matter at all. We're all,
So there's a lot to take in here. The hope is that a security audit will show exactly what we know it to show, is that it's no more of a security risk than any U.S.-made drone. And in fact, what should happen here is, and Ron, you come from the IT world, okay, from a cybersecurity standpoint, the same standards that we apply to Chinese drones, we apply to U.S.-made drones. Okay? It was a U.S. company that created an identity theft issue for me, not a Chinese company recently. Okay? So standards have to be applied across the board. I want us all to be protected. But until somebody can build a drone that can provide the same capabilities as DJI, I'm going to continue backing them. And DJI.
I think all of us feel the same way. If we got the same technology at basically the same price, we would buy the American version.
Well, at least you would have a choice, right, Bob?
Yes.
At least you would have a choice. And competition's a wonderful thing. Why wouldn't we want it?
Right. Right.
So,
but if it was 10 times more or 5 times more, it would be our decision.
So two issues there, Bob, right? First off is the affordability. And now, my background was, we could afford expensive drones, but most public safety agencies can't. Okay. Mm-hmm. And restricting drones that they currently use is another mistake, because you're taking life-saving tools away from public safety. And those life-saving tools are to protect our lives and our property. So that's a misstep right there.
Ron,
but
Tom has been with Tom is retired from the fire department in New York City. So and he was instrumental in bringing drones and robotics into that fire department. So just give you a background there. Yes.
But now I'm an old fart, Ron. Okay, and I fly my drones even though I'm commercially certified, right? I fly my drones for mental health purposes. Okay, as many of us do, and the big problem we have with U.S. companies, nobody is supporting the recreational environment. So who in the rec environment is going to go out and spend $12,500 on a drone? Look, your Mini 3, your Mini 4, okay?
Yeah.
Not the cheapest drones out there, but definitely affordable to a larger cross-section of the population. And
Right.
you can't buy a recreational drone from a U.S. company today.
Many of the hobbyists that are out there are unaware that there's even a problem brewing with executive orders in Washington. They just go out and fly their drones. And a lot of them are oblivious to local laws. Here in Tennessee, we have several state parks. In fact, every state park in the state of Tennessee has a law that, and it's technical, you cannot take off or land within the state park boundaries.
Yeah.
So these people are flying from way outside the state park, but they're losing sight of their aircraft. Okay.
Which is a violation of FAA.
They don't know this. They don't know that part because they didn't check into it. And then of course, all the national parks, there's a ban on that. And I've never seen anybody actually fly in the national park illegally at all, but I have seen them. There's guys that post videos all the time with the Tennessee state parks, and one guy got asked about it, and he said that he cited the law. You could take off and land outside the state park and fly over it.
Yeah,
exactly. And that again becomes a potential problem for us as a drone community, right?
Community.
It's like being in boot camp. One guy screws up, we all do push-ups. And that's part of the problem we face as a community too. And you know what? We need people to be more aware of not just the regulations, but what's happening out there with these restrictive provisions that are being floated at various, whether it's local, county, state arenas. Like you have the state of Utah right now. They're trying to restrict all airspace up to 200 feet. So how do we get from takeoff to 201 feet without violating a law they're trying to put on the books? So this becomes a problem. Now, I have a radio spot running in the state of New York because of a current provision out there that's trying to restrict, it's a bill up in Albany, New York, A2237 and Assembly Bill 2237 and I'm sorry, Assembly Bill 2237 and Senate Bill 3259, which are also looking to restrict what types of drones are being by entities within New York State. And that's a problem. So I have a radio spot that's playing on radio stations throughout that state. And I also just authored an op-ed publications about New York City and New York State. So we all have to get involved. And one good arena to leverage is the Drone Advocacy Alliance. And reaching out to your state, and local legislators to tell them, how this impacts you. And it does. Because if we start restricting these drones, it's not just us recreational flyers.
No, I mean, we're the minority of this.
Yeah, what about the small businesses out there that are relying on these drones that are affordable to leverage for business? And if they're by U.S. drones, will they be able to?
Yeah, I actually sold my Mavic 2 Pro to a local business owner that put in septic tanks and drain line fields, and that's what he wanted the drone for. His wife had bought him a $35 Amazon drone that didn't work very well for him, and I sold him my Mavic 2 Pro, which I'm kicking myself in the butt for. I should have kept the damn thing, but he uses it for that.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny you say that. And Bob had mentioned earlier in the show that, hey, our drones are going to be very valuable.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know, you're going to have to find some way to insure them. And we know what happens with new drone pilots.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
They go down.
you know,
That's why DJI came out with Care Refresh.
exactly. Exactly. You know,
I've never
Hey,
bought.
I've-
Knock on wood, I have never crashed a drone. Never have. Okay.
Ah.
well, you're not in good company then, Ron. I'm
No.
telling you that right now. Okay. I think in fact, Bob's wife is going to give a workshop at the Vegas Drone Meetup called Drone Recovery 101. Okay.
how
but,
to put your drone into a mountain there, you know?
yeah.
Yes. So where in
know.
Tennessee are you, Ron?
I'm in a town called Crossville, Tennessee, which is between Knoxville and Nashville, right off the interstate.
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
I'm in an area they call the plateau. We're about 2,000 feet elevation here on. We're not, you know, the highest part, but we're up pretty high here.
Yeah.
It's a
So
beautiful
I don't know.
area. It's a beautiful area. It's a beautiful area to fly. There's a lot of flying opportunities here.
It's great.
Looks gorgeous from looking at your videos. You know, one of our people who's a very active person in our drone community is Barkley. He's 107 drones in the chat, and he is in. I believe he's in Nashville.
Okay.
You know?
So he's about 100. He's about 100 miles from me. And that other guy, RJ Ariels.
Yes.
Yes.
He's about 70 miles to the south
Well,
of me.
well, you know what? That sounds like you got a making of a Tennessee drone meetup there.
It does. Yeah.
You know?
Oh, I mean, that we could combine a drone meetup with a trip to the Reimer Theater and you know, the country music museum there, and that would be a great time there. That's a great city I got to work in Nashville for about a week and a half a few years ago, and it's a great place to be. That's for sure. That's for sure. Well, great. Well, listen, we're getting close to an hour here, but what else? What's your plan, Ron? Are you planning something to do in the future here? Do you have a trip planned, or?
Well, in about an hour, I'm going out to fly.
Okay.
I've got some. The Waypoint missions are set up. I'm watching some. There's a Facebook group here that's a historical group, and they keep up with things that are happening for historical purposes. So, like if a building gets tore down, they would like to have a photograph of that before it gets tore down, and then after it gets tore down, and if something gets built back in its place, so they could show the history progression of that.
Right.
And that's why I have the Waypoint missions. I have a goal. I would like to do a Waypoint mission on one location where the video would be a whole year. And as you fly through the mission, you transition to the newer, videos one at a time. So you could show maybe a construction type of a warehouse, let's say, a construction history in one video. It just transitions from one time frame to the next time frame, and you can actually see this building come up out of the ground in your video.
Great self project.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying. I've got one place they're doing it. They're building a huge automotive warehouse here, and I caught it at the very beginning. Unfortunately, I lost those Waypoint mission, so I had to recreate it, and I don't have the exact same flight on the ones that I recreated. So I had, you'll have to do
it over and over and over till you get it right.
If if DJI wouldn't have lost the missions, I would have got it right.
Well, you made a comment before about how DJI customer support got to you online and they asked you for all the same stuff, but you being an IT guy and me coming from the technology side, you know, that first help desk thing is, have you rebooted your computer? You know,
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
it's
Right, turn
you know,
it
they're
on and
following
off.
a script, right? They're following a
Yeah.
script. But the one
Yeah.
thing I want to say
They
is,
are.
even through some of this nonsense we're dealing with lately, is their customer support on the replacement side has still been stellar.
Yes.
We're very fortunate, but you know, very concerned about how long that will last if any restrictions.
Well,
Yeah.
I've actually sent in my P3 went in for the flippy screen problem where the rubber band broke or whatever. The Action 4 has been in twice, and every time it comes back, they cover it. They cover the shipping and everything.
Yeah.
I always get a phone call afterwards from DJI asking me if everything was okay, and of course,
Follow
you know
up.
that.
Yep.
So they have good service, but I just, you know, like you said, they have a script they follow in the forum.
Well, you know what level 1 is like, Ron. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
But if
Everybody's
that,
got to start
if that
there, right?
Action 4 continues that, I would stay on the phone until they elevate you to a level 2 or level 3 person here. You know, it can be worthwhile. I have had that. You know, I had problems with my first drone. I had the Mavic Mini, the very first Mini, and it kept all of a sudden start lowering itself and then crashing. And I thought, I found out it was the props that, you know, their props were not holding up. And when they came out with new props, it fixed the problem.
Well, on the
But,
on the last support call, which was just last week, or the last forum email back and forth deal, I told that rep, I said, you need to get a hold of your influencer desk and put me on the list as an influencer that actually can break it. Okay. In other words, test it out for the engineers. You want me to test your crap? Send it to me. I'll test it out.
Yeah, I'll beta the heck out of it.
Because I actually use my stuff as it's intended to. And I'm sure there's many people out there with the Osmo Action 4 problem and the DJI mic problem, and they don't even know they have a problem. Okay. You know, my problem is like I produce videos with mine, and then when you get home and half your audio is missing that you can't recover, and even if you hit the internal recording on the mic 2, it's always a pain in the ass to sync that up and get that audio synced up.
What are you using for editing?
I use DaVinci Resolve.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm not familiar with that, but I know in Premiere Pro, audio sync has gotten so much easier to deal with.
Yeah, and they may have in DaVinci. DaVinci just came out with version 20 this past week for the free platform, and they came out with it for the paid platform last month, and they rolled it out this week for the freebies. And they may have some new stuff in there I haven't read about yet.
Yeah, I highly recommend. Yeah, I highly recommend you have some redundancy and you do that internal recording on the mic 2. I mean, it's a lifesaver.
I just recently found out I have a DJI mic, the first versions.
First one.
I just recently found out that you can plug that into the RC2 controller, and when you record your screen, your audio is inside the RC2 controller with your internal video.
And with that, again, you have to check into the DaVinci side. But with that, what you can do is you can narrate your flight and then bring your controller video in with your captured drone video, and then sync the audio up.
Yeah,
you know, so that's a good opportunity to leverage that.
I have a few videos on my channel that show that. They show the well, it's like that one guy. There's a couple drone guys over here I watch, 51 drones. And
Russ.
Marcus, Idaho. Yeah, they do that. They bring in their screen recording in with their even the X33. They got the actual drone plate. the screen control
Yep.
in their own in
Yep.
their own video.
I've been
So-
out there with Marcus when he does his little productions.
Yes.
Okay, it's always great to watch. If
If
he
you,
puts out some really great stuff.
Let me see if I
I'm
can
sure
mimic
if
him.
if
Hello,
you've seen
this is-
any of his last few from he was on the Caribbean cruise with us. We did a Caribbean
those.
drone cruise. If you see any
Yeah.
of those videos, I snuck into most of his videos there.
Yeah.
We've been to quite a few places, and I've took my drone. I brought a Mini 3 Pro with, and he brought the Air 3S, and many times we were set up right next to each other,
I've
and then
seen you
took
in the
off
video.
at the same time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen you in the video. Yeah, y'all standing out on
Yeah.
that rock with all that water around you. But
Oh, yeah.
I love to watch Marcus because he actually flies for fun, and that's what his
Yeah.
whole deal is. He flies for fun, and that's what I like to do. I do have missions, but I do like to fly for fun also. So I always get
Right.
a kick out of his. And then, of course, 51 Drones is more educational.
Did a very good job. Russ does
Mhm.
an
Yeah, Russ does
excellent,
great work.
excellent job.
Yeah.
yeah,
He really does a great job of getting to the point, and if he has something to teach you, it's pretty well laid out.
So
I
so let me
enjoy
ask-
his
let me-
videos too.
Let me ask you a question, Bob. How long have you been doing this stream?
The show. This is the 4th year I've been doing the show. I started, I guess, in 21, and it was an outreach from the Old Farts with Drones, the Facebook group. I truly started that for about a dozen guys in a chat room that we had a dozen senior citizens that were chatting, and we all, and I said, well, why don't we just start our own group? And one of those guys got, insulted by some other person on another group, and said, listen, old man, read the book before you ask stupid questions. So I said, well, let's start our own group. And that was the whole gist of it. And now it's 27,000 members in over 100 countries,
So you have a Facebook page, a Facebook group.
Yep. Old
Yes.
Farts with Drones.
Okay.
Yes.
So YouTube just fed this up to me last week.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Recently, I get a lot of live stream feeds that loop YouTube. I don't know if it's because I'm watching them and YouTube feeds me some more of them, or how that works out.
Their logarithm is constantly trying to figure out how to sell you more ads, how to get more advertising in
These
your
are the
face.
number of drone shows that are on every week. Okay.
Oh, really?
This is compiled by Johnny Alfonso, Fly with Fun. So that's a show to look up. Fly for Fun.
Flies for fun, or flies with
for fun.
Fly for fun.
Okay.
And Johnny's out of Louisiana. He gets together usually with Ray Kelly. Ray is a snowbird up in Long Island half the year, then down in the east shore of Florida. And Ray and Johnny and a bunch of people put on the South Florida drone meetup, which is basically the largest drone meetup in the U.S.
Right.
Yeah, Marcus was down there.
Yep.
Yeah, and again, our drone meetup is this coming November, the weekend before Veterans Day. Last year we had a fantastic turnout, and this year it's going to be even bigger. But getting together on any of these meetups is special, even if you don't fly.
Yeah.
Or it's just socializing with people that share the same interest, right?
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
And the wisdom that's imparted amongst this community is invaluable, really. Is. So, that's something to think about. And again, connecting with other members in the community, Ron. You might find some local gatherings near and around, or at least more easily accessible to you. And that's, I've always had fun. You know, I just retired several years, and now it's almost 4 years, Bob. Holy cow, I didn't realize.
Wow.
But
What day-
out of New York City.
I'm
Do you
still
wake up-
not retired.
Do you wake
know.
up in the morning? Do you wake up in the morning and ask what day of the week it is?
Yeah, no. See, I have a pill dispenser that reminds me what day of the week it is. Okay.
I still ask. I quit. That's the very first thing I did when I retired. Is I quit setting my alarm clock. Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
I was up- I was up
Unfortunately,
at
my
4
body's clock isn't cooperating, Ron.
Right.
Okay.
right.
But you know,
Well-
here's something that I've heard said over and over again, and now I know it to ring true: is when did I have time to work? Okay, because I'm just as busy in retirement.
Yeah.
And what better way is there? And that's a tribute to what Bob has done also with Old Farts with Drones. Okay. There's so many people, so many testimonials of people who have retired and unfortunately sat on the couch.
Yes.
And then when they got a drone, they were like, oh my goodness, there is a world out there.
You do. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I got something to do. For me, I
Yeah.
like adventuring. I got a big high clearance 4-wheel drive vehicle, and the wife and I and friends, we go out into the back country and
Mhm.
yeah, I'm not climbing those mountains though. That's what my drone is for. Okay, I want to see what's over that ridge. That's what my drone is for.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it really makes a huge difference in our lives. In fact, I'm doing something this week where I'm getting together with a party at the Veterans Administration to try to introduce drones to veterans that are having some difficulties connecting. And coming from fire service, that was a huge extended family. Now in retirement, there's a bit of a void there because I don't have that huge extended family. But now the drone community is basically
It's
filled in,
family.
right? Yeah,
It's
it
family.
really
I mean,
becomes family after a while.
yeah. You will feel that way, Ron, if you attend one of these drone meetups. It is truly like a brotherhood of people that you haven't met yet. That everybody's friendly, everybody likes each other, everybody shares what knowledge and help that they can share. It's really a very positive feeling, and that was kind of the stimulus why we decided that we should start the Vegas drone meetup. So that there's something on this side of the United States. And, the Florida one, I've been to 4 years in a row.
I went
I've been to
this
the-
past year.
Yeah, Tom came last.
Where's the one in Florida held at?
Jensen Beach, Florida.
Jen-
So just
okay,
north
is it-
of West Palm Beach.
Is it in the winter? Is it in the winter time?
No, it's
Yeah.
early spring.
Early
So
spring.
It's early April.
Beginning of April. Beginning
Now
of
here's one problem though. If you hang out with Bob too long, you start growing facial hair.
I do that.
No.
I do that. I do that in the winter time. I get rid of it in the summertime.
Yeah, backpack
Jackie
Jack
said-
out of
I'm
Tom,
still young.
Jackie said, "Is he trying to compete with Bob?" And I said,
no, mine is just this over here. That's all, Bob.
I said he found out how much I make in December.
Yeah, and
I do
playing
Santa
Santa.
Claus in
Okay.
December.
Yeah, so and
Yes.
Ron, by the
All
way,
good.
Bob is the only Buddhist Santa Claus I've ever met. Okay, so tell me that's not a unique individual there.
Yeah. Well, listen, guys, I got to get off here. Thanks for having me. Okay.
Oh, thanks for jumping on, Ron. I'm glad
So-
you found it. And
So Ron, there's another show that's going to happen in about less than an hour.
yeah.
Okay, called Those Guys. And today I'm a guest host on Those Guys for their
And they
300th
make
show.
more detail. I'm
Okay.
still scouring the news channels. I've been bouncing back and forth from Fox to Newsmax to CNN to back and forth ABC. I still have not seen anything about.
Yeah, it hasn't come up yet. I
Trump.
have an alert here. But on those guys' show today, which is their 300 show, Herman, and Lawrence.
Lawrence.
I'm going to guest host today, but we have Vic Moss on. Okay, we have Ryan LaTourette. We have also Ken Dono, another huge influencer. So that's a great show to catch. Also, Ron is the third.
Is that the name of their channel? Those guys.
Those guys. They're out of New York City.
Right.
Okay.
Those guys.
I don't know if I have a link. Let me see.
I was gonna say there's one here. It's a band. It's not them.
No. Those guys is going to be.
That's not the name of their channel.
I had it up already, but
Yeah.
Those guys.
Yeah. So I'm just scanning the news channels here, and I'm still not seeing anything yet. So I'm, I'm sure that if in fact this meeting happened, one of the people that I spoke with at DJI was believing that it might be delayed a week, this Trump signing of this executive order, but
and I posted a
we're
link.
not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, it's right there.
Previous show, but if you go up there, you can subscribe to it. Yeah, well, look, I'm hoping the security audit gets taken care of, and I hope that it's, an objective security audit, and that some standards come out of it that are applied across the board. I think if that happens, then we could see even more competition coming down the road, because to exclude DJI from the mix, I don't think that spurs competition. I think, unfortunately, what that will do is that will allow U.S. drone manufacturers to sit back on their laurels instead of looking to innovate.
And try to collect 5 times the amount for
unfortunately,
for a less featured drone. It's definitely a problem.
Exactly. When a small town fire department can get the funds together to buy a $6,000 thermal imaging drone versus getting a drone that's going to, by the time they're done with batteries and everything else, spending close to 20 grand, not that accessible. So, and seeing, and Bob has seen it too, how effective these drones are in public safety, how effective these are with local rescue entities. We have Red Rock Search and Rescue. Yeah.
So, they could take, if they had $20,000, they would get one drone. If they had $20,000, they could get 3 drones,
have a backup
drones, and have
not just a backup, but, allow the local law enforcement and fire EMS service to both operate and support each other, which at the end of the day is supporting us. That's what we have to look at, is don't take these tools away. It's like, to be honest with you, it's taking a rescue tool, like a hearse tool, the jaws of life, away from a fire department and saying, oh, we don't like who built it, so you can't use it. Well, that means when they need to extricate somebody from an auto accident, they're not going to have the tool. And believe me, drones are going to be more useful than that.
Go.
Yep,
and
we got to sign off too, Bob.
I'll see you on the,
I got to jump off too.
I'll see you on the next show, Bob.
Okay, we'll see you all. Thank you all for coming on. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys. Thanks, Tom. I'm looking forward to some of these next steps for the Vegas Drone Meetup. And I told everybody that before the 4th of July, okay, we're at the 4th of June, before the 4th of July, you will be able to register for the Vegas Drone Meetup. And we will have everything set up and ready to move within the next few days here. So, I will see you, and we have our meeting next Wednesday. So we'll have a lot more information then.
And also, we got a lot of big supporters out there. Make sure, Jackie, it was so good to see you in the chat. Make sure folks, you go check out Drone Seekers International. Okay, they put on a great show on Sunday.
One of the best.
One of the best shows on.
I watch it for the videos. I enjoy the chit chat, but I enjoy the videos of seeing the drone flyers in the UK. Just make some amazing, amazing videos. All right. Good night, everyone. Thank you. Appreciate you coming here and enjoying this with us. Bye-bye now.